Outlets are people who give energy. Plugs are people who find outlets to plug into and drain for all their resources until they're fully charged up and they can go on about their lives. How to spot a snake within your circle. How to spot someone who doesn't mean well. I guess we should define a snake first of all, because I think that in our genre of hip hop, the term snake gets thrown around for everything. You and I could have a miscommunication, and if you don't like the way certain words were worded in a way on text message or through an email, you could easily decipher somebody or easily label them as a snake. The way that I define a snake, someone that says one thing, presents themselves as one way, but has alternative motives that completely contradict who they present themselves as. Someone who knows they are getting ready to screw you over. That is snakish behavior to me. But many times when you get into a place where you have a group of people, I don't know, a label situation or whatever you're a part of, I don't know your situation, especially as a producer. Maybe you have a collective of folks that you're working with. It's very easy to overlook signs, especially because you don't want to be the person that is paranoid. So when you get into these group situations, it's really hard, especially because many times it's not as cut and dry as the definition that I gave you. Some people can do things that can be labeled as snakish. So when it comes to somebody that may be in a crew, it's kind of hard because it's like a little bit of a gray area where you get around folks who all have sort of the same goals in mind. They want to achieve the same thing, and you're seeing yourself achieving things, working in this synergetic space. And many times it can get lost upon you, these subtle things that happen, but you just don't quite know enough to accuse anything. And you continue to go on because you got your mind on the goal. You don't have the luxury to always be looking around and, I think this person, no, before you react, before you make any rash decisions, observe. See how you feel when certain people enter a room and when they exit a room. When you're in a space where you're creatively making music, nobody's thinking as deeply on this kind of stuff. They're thinking about the music at hand. I'm challenging you to do this really in any room. It doesn't have to be just a music room. It could just be just in general in life. Challenge yourself to observe. How are you feeling? Do you feel like the air in the room feels a little bit tighter when this person comes in? Do you feel uneasy? Does their presence make you feel a little fidgety? And not because you're nervous around them, but because something about them just seems a little bit off? Does someone walk in and then the room lights up? These are signs that you want to look out for, especially as you're trying to decipher who may be a mood changer within this particular circle. I never forget it. Best manager I ever had goes by Salas. He said, in this life, Curtis, you're going to meet people who are outlets and who are plugs. You and I are outlets. Outlets are people who give energy. They help people. They charge people up. They motivate them. They inspire them. They electrify them. Plugs are people who find outlets to plug into and drain for all their resources until they're fully charged up and they can go on about their lives. And after they lose that charge, they find somebody else or they come back to the same source, that same outlet, to charge back up again. So the first step I say, observe. Observe the way that they talk about themselves. If someone talks about themselves in such a negative manner in which you start to say, damn, bro, maybe you should chill. Imagine what they're saying about you when you're not in their best, you're not on their good side. It will give you a hint into how cloudy or how obstructed their view may be. Here's another one that I found that has helped me out dramatically, especially when it comes specifically to Instagram. They see it as a safe spot to say passive aggressive things, to say things that are, no, it's not that serious, bro. It's just Instagram. It's just Instagram. It's not that serious. People see that as a safe space to say what they really want to say, but just don't have the audacity, don't have the, as my homie Epic says, the testicular fortitude to actually step up and say. So they wait for an opportunity. That opportunity usually comes in the form of when it's time to laugh at you. You ever see somebody that's laughing a little bit too hard? Like maybe you and your boys is like snapping at each other, right? Y'all going back, oh man, with your big ear blimp head ass here, oh Bobby's World head ass, right? You know, you getting into it and everybody laughing, and there's that one person that cannot wait for that person to get you, and they're like, and they going in. That's when we got to start questioning intent. I've noticed it in Instagram whenever people who don't have good thoughts circulating around you, but still feel like they got to do business in some capacity with you or feel like they can benefit from you, they don't show up for the good news. And if they do show up for the good news, something I learned from the 48 Laws of Power, I don't like everything in it, but there's certain things that just, they just are what they are. Be careful of the people that show up first every single time, because some people who are conflicted amongst themselves themselves feel like they have to show you some kind of love so that they can prove to themselves they're not a hater towards what you're doing. Even though they're secretly deep down inside, they do not like, or that maybe they're jealous, or maybe they feel a certain way. They don't like it, man. They don't like you. Don't overthink that too, my friends. If you somebody that I know, you know what I'm saying, and you leave stuff first, you leave stuff first. I ain't tripping on that. Don't make it a one size fits all type of situation. When those folks don't show up for the good times, oh my goodness, but they have time. Oh, they have ample time to show up and laugh at you. That's something that I've noticed though, is that those folks who do not like you, they don't rock with who you are and what you're doing, and they want an opportunity to be congruent, because this is all about congruency. When we talk about this, it's almost like human psychology 101. This is all about congruency. If on a personal level someone does not like you and they have to fake like they do, they have to find little micro aggression, little micro opportunities to be contrast to everything you do. That's the same thing in a professional environment. When you're in a meeting and someone always finds a counter argument to what you say all the time, you gotta look at that and be like, so what's the real issue here? Is it the idea or is it my existence? Because it seems to me that you have it out for me. Don't view this as a bad thing that is happening. You get a snake in your circle, right? The one thing I do want you to see is that this is something that is beneficial to you. Because one, when you get bit by a snake, you're wiser. Two, after you have that wisdom, you do something very, very important with it, which is to protect your energy, right? Which is to not even conserve, but to put it in places that are more productive. Also, it makes you a lot more level about how life is. You're not gonna always be around people that love what you're doing. You're not gonna always be around people that celebrate you. And you don't want to over celebrate the positive feedback either. You know what? That sucks because I trusted this person. I believed in this person and they still flipped on me. But you know what? Would I have rather not known and had them still around? It's always a blessing. It's always a blessing. Recognize that. Observe. Don't react. Don't be emotional. The Curtis King Podcast, a podcast for music producers, thinkers, and creatives alike. Listen for a new episode every Monday at thecurtiskingpodcast.com.